Today is June 11th, 2023, also known as exactly 3 years since we shot our great one whitetail right here on Layton Lakes. And technically we shot the great one on June 10th, but the video came out the 11th, and I thought it was more fitting to do it this way because now if you go on YouTube and look at that video, it will say 3 years ago. But I felt the only appropriate thing to do on this particular date was to come back here to Layton Lakes and continue grinding for a great one moose. Maybe there's some kind of magical great one powers in June 11th, and we'll see if we can somehow get our great one moose today. And definitely not a bad start. Yet another good size max word estimate level 4. We have been seeing more and more of these as the grind has gone along. And by the way, speaking of the great one whitetail, if you guys are interested, assuming I've timed everything correctly and everything has gone to plan, there should be a clip over on my clips channel of the great one whitetail in less than 4 minutes. I know the initial video was like 33 minutes, so I thought that'd be a good idea to have a shortened version, and why not release it on the date of the 3-year anniversary of either shooting it or the video coming out. I might release it the day before just to have it out there, but either way, a 245 scoring gold to get us started, hard shot him at 133 meters, and this has continued to be one of the best areas on our entire map. It's this just southwest coast area. Now, I will say, since the 6-hour stream, we're getting less bulls per run now, and I don't know why that is. I've gone around, I've checked a bunch of areas that I thought maybe some moose have respawned into rather than where they've been, and I can't find any excess bulls, so they're somewhere. I just don't know where. That may be one spot. It's not a new zone, but definitely not a place that bulls are typically at, so let's get this one first. The one that we spotted out there is probably so far away he won't even hear that. And the question is, do we take that shot? He's probably like 350 meters out. We'll get to closer to 300 flat and then try to just make that frontal hard shot. That should be a little better, and we don't want to drop down any further because we're not going to be able to see. But that's going to get him down, so we'll have to go all the way over there. I've talked about not going for longer shots on moose because typically it just involves more tracking, but the frontal hard shots are pretty easy to make, and the thing about it is, if there is another moose somewhere in that 250 meter range and we can't see it, it won't spook because we didn't get close enough for it to hear the gunshot. So there's always kind of two sides to consider with that, and generally speaking, unless it is that frontal hard shot opportunity, I'll just get closer because I don't want to have to track them, but we'll see, especially because we're missing some bulls. Probably not a bad idea to give us the best chance possible of encountering others. That said, oh, there was another bull in there. I thought that was going to be a cow. Let's go over there and see what that was. I hate to track fleeing stuff, but I'm really trying to figure out what's going on at the moment. We were at close to 15 bulls per run, which the runs are about 30 minutes, so 30 an hour was decent. We're down to about half of that, and 15 an hour, not so much. I never had a single track from that bull. I know one went through there, and it wasn't big, most likely a level 3. But I would have liked to have known like where it came from. I don't know what happened up there. But for now we just have level 2. We did whiff on that hard shot. We got along at some point. I don't even know that follow-up hit, but it'll bring him down. And he is not the most impressive moose we've seen, but at least it's another one added to our tally, and we can keep on moving up through here. Well, that's a nice sight to see. Not only the fact that it's another good-sized moose, but where he's at. This is the lake down by the Rocky Outpost, and it was, for a time, our best lake, without a doubt. There's another bull there, and another max estimate 4. I wonder, can we get like a good trotting shot at him? The problem is, we're gonna lose the spotting outline. We'll end up getting him later. It's usually better to do that than make a couple of bad shots and have to track him. But for a long time, we would have pretty consistently 6 bulls in this spot, and whether it's because we did leave the zone or things just moved around, I don't know. But rarely now do we get any bulls here, especially on this end. So that's good to see. And maybe more so than just finding the bulls, it's the fact that we were a little bit more persistent, ran further down the shore here, and ended up spotting the two of them. They may have been here the entire time, and we just weren't going into the right spot. But this particular rack is something we've seen in the very recent past, though the moose didn't look quite like this. Finally, here on Layton Lakes, and we don't even need the binoculars to see it, we've got a significant rare from this moose grind. A 183 to 237 scoring albino moose, which no doubt is going to score 237 point something. So with the wind as it is, and the cows kind of in the way, we're going to try to take the shot from here, and then if we can, we'll get the one beside him. But this is literally the first moose of a new run. That one we hard shot, I think we got the bottom of the lungs on the second one. We did. So that's going to be pretty cool. And he, I think, dropped in a way that we'll be able to get a decent photo. I'm not going to lie, I thought for a second maybe it was going to be like the fabled two-tone as a great one. Pretty close second as what's going to be, I think, our second biggest rare, but our coolest rare, no doubt, a really good sized albino. And when I say second biggest rare, by the way, I do mean of the grind as a whole. We shot a 240 something piebald moose with basically the same rack over on Medved Taiga, and if you recall, that was the one that I shot through the brush and the piebald pattern through a bush just didn't stand out against the snow. I thought it was a common and didn't even record it. So this is a much better result. 237.15 albino moose shot in the heart with the 300 and 156 meters. It's not quite the replacement for the albino diamond we shot all those years ago before the trophy lodge, but when this grind's over, this is definitely going to be a main lodge edition, and one that I can't wait to have in the lodge and just walk past as we go through on our lodge tours and stuff. Typically with these grinds, I'll keep stuff like this in the grind lodge until the grind is over. I don't even know that I'll do that. We might just put him straight into the main lodge, because that is pretty sweet. To see that after what has actually been a pretty rough patch of this grind, I literally killed 7 bulls the last run. Talk about encouragement and motivation. We'll use it as that. So I didn't think of it until after the fact, but obviously that was a day or so ago, and the point of it was for this video, I wanted to do some moose grinding and hope that we could find something to include in it. Depending on what happens on this run, if we find a great one, that's all good, but the likelihood of that is obviously quite low. What kind of shocked me about that is the location in which it happened. We shot our great one whitetail. I believe we would have been standing somewhere right back in there. We were right in this area. The level 3 that we shot as we snuck in was very close to where we're standing right this moment. So I thought it was pretty wild that on a day where we're coming out here, the kind of 3rd anniversary of having shot our great one whitetail, that albino moose shows up almost in the exact same spot. And I mentioned the encouragement and everything, I believe, in that particular clip. With the 7 bulls per run or whatever we're getting lately, it just makes me think we should maybe stick with Layton a little bit longer. And I'll also add, we've checked this spot 4 times now this run, because I knew at some stage we're going to have to come back here, and the very first time we came here there were 4 cows. The next 2 times there were nothing, and then this time I think it was 3 cows and a bull. Really, really odd, and I frankly don't have an explanation for that, but interesting it went that way, and nice that at that point we were coming back whether there was anything here or not, and we got a little bonus bull kill. And again, we've got a bull showing up in a spot that they haven't been in a very long time. Now I do tend to check here, so I don't think necessarily this is responsible for us not finding as many bulls per run, but good to see, and good to see that it's a 4 and not like a level 2 or something like that. I was wondering if that could be a thing as well. So there's another bull somewhere right down by our tent. I'd already been looking back that way because recently on stream, I can't remember if we backed away from our tent or what happened, but we were getting ready to fast travel away and spotted one kind of down in the brush that was pretty well hidden. Now, I don't see it. It's gotta be in there though. The only thing is we are just past 1600. That's him there. Okay, not very impressive, but far enough away he won't hear this. So let's get this guy. And only because he is going to be probably leaving his zone given the time, we'll go for the shot from this range. But since he heard that, it actually made it easier. But it does, sad as it may be, kind of demonstrate the normal runs these days. That's going to be 8 moose on this run, and what? So there's another max weight one up here? Interesting, we may pay another visit back this way. I kind of want to get that other one at the lake just south of us too, so maybe that's what we'll do, reset back to like 1500 or a very late time and just see what happens? Because there's a couple we missed out on that I'd like to know what they are. But to complete what I was saying, we maybe weren't as efficient as we could have been on this run, every now and then slowing down for different things. Going back and forth to that one spot certainly cost us a little time, but even if we got, say, these other two, this max estimate one that, I don't know where he would have been, maybe he had already left, and then the other one down at the other lake? Interesting. We could have maybe gotten up to like 10 this run. The wind direction, we're gonna go and see what this is if we can find it, but I wouldn't say it's likely that we don't spook them. As it turns out, it's not so easy to find them again. This guy has to be the one that we picked up the track of, and maybe the one that Warning called, I'm really not too sure. The other one down at the southwestmost lake just didn't seem to be there, and it's so late into the zone time, I would think that they would be in their spots by now, so that's interesting. There's two here this time. They should go to a zone and stop, so hopefully we can get into a good spot and ideally make a hard shot on both. And I guess, in the end, it gives us an opportunity to get to 10, not on this run, but at least in this video. That should be a decent hit. That was a little bit awkward the way he moved around, but gotta be high lung if not vertebrae, which I think it may be. Try to make sure he goes down a little bit more quickly. Got the important shot in there, no problem though, 208 score for him. And then I do think we got a vital hit on the follow-up there. That would certainly appear to be the case. And as we grab our 10th moose now of the video, I wanted to kind of go back to another, actually in the same run as the albino moose, another pretty wild thing that happened, and the level of unexpectedness definitely, I think, causes some more intrigue. You know, one advantage of finding a rare is that there's no guesswork, there's no ifs to it. It's just gonna look nice on the wall and it's going to be what you expect. This level 4 moose at 269 to 323 has a pretty good shot of being a diamond 4, but I wouldn't say it's at all guaranteed. So we're gonna try to get him, and much like in the case of the albino, the one next to him, I don't have a clue if we got that. That also... Wait a minute. That's not the moose that was standing there a minute ago. Why was there a level 5 by him? That was really lucky that I decided to record the level 4, because that may be a diamond, but there was a 3 there, I think. So there's some amount of chance that we just shot 2 diamonds side by side. Depends on what the 4 is, and frankly depends on what the 5 is based on how often they troll. That is a diamond at 278. I had a feeling. Hard shot him at 112, and fitting, that was a 112 meter shot. Not too bad. Made diamond by all of 3, so we'll tax that. I think we got the 5. I'm not 100% sure, but he was dropping. I do see, I believe that's Vital Blood. That is Vital Blood, so that was pretty wild. Now, I only ever saw like the one side, but it looked to be the wide set 5 rack, so I kind of think he's got a good chance of making it, but it completely depends on if he's even and everything else. But, oh, he is uneven. I'm not going to say it's super likely, but that wide set rack gives him a shot at it. That's only a 265, so go figure. A 4 and a 5 standing right next to each other. The 4 makes it, the 5 is not even close. And if he had a bigger brow tine, maybe that would have helped. That was just ridiculous the way that went down. Glad one of them made it anyway. That adds another diamond to our total, which is slowly starting to grow here. And why not go to one final spot since we reset the time anyway? And we do have 2 more moose here, so definitely worth the run up here. I think we're going to have to shoot the level 2 first, just based on the way they're standing, which is less than ideal. But that guy turns and gives us a good broadside shot. We'll fast travel back, and that's going to bring us to our last kills of this video. But to go back to the level 4 and 5 there for a moment, I knew that the level 4 had a pretty good chance at being a diamond, just based on the estimate and the fact that it was a wide set rack. But there really was a level 3 there. I spotted it later, I went back to that spot and ended up shooting it. I don't know where the 5 came from, I don't know where the level 3 went, but I do think it's pretty funny that we didn't even spot it. Ended up shooting it, and it didn't matter in the end whether we made a good shot or not. He was way below diamond. But it's one of those types of things where, despite the fact that it was a troll, it's good to see, several big moose in all these different areas. Would have been kind of cool if maybe the albino had been the 5 or the really nice 4, but I'm certainly not complaining. That is by far our best kill of this grind, and we just shot the melanistic here on Layton as well. A big albino like that definitely takes the cake. And even though I said that we are going to put him in the main lodge, I think for the moment, we'll just put both these guys in the grind lodge and eventually take the albino back to the main lodge. But a 278 diamond 4, I like this rack. It's maybe not the most realistic rack out there, but I always like that one because it's unlikely to make diamond or doesn't make diamond as often. Then I want to place our albino back here on a full body mount. Now, we had the big piebald there, and I'm thinking we must have taken him back to the main lodge already. Because what we have here is I think this was like a, 282. That was a level 4 diamond as well. I would say a big albino standing there is going to be a whole lot better. And maybe we should have the piebald opposite him, but pretty darn cool. It's the closest thing we've had in a lot of years to our albino diamond, and definitely something I want in the main lodge. Maybe as a full body mount. You know what we could do? I'll think about it, but we have a multi-mount literally in this exact spot in the main lodge with a dark brown male lion and currently a common female lion. We could do the moose multi-mount with the moose and quail, especially if we can get a diamond quail from New England or Mississippi, but that is definitely our best kill thus far. Not a great one, so I guess maybe June 11th doesn't have a bunch of great one magic packed into it, but still, pretty cool to get that, and like I said, a little bit of motivation to remain on Layton for a bit longer and just see what happens. But anyway, that is going to do it for this video, so as always, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you next time.